morning. Good morning. Well, I'm trying to do something. It's not working. I was trying to do a little show and tell, but I can't figure out why it's not working. I'll see if I can figure it out later. Anyway, good morning. Happy Friday. TGIF. TGIFF. Thank goodness it's Free Flow Friday. So, thank goodness it's Free Flow Friday. This is, what is this? This is the 21st day of January. This is the 15th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone, reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. So try it. You might like it. That said, I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative and the creator of the Hero Ministry movement. That is my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community, first and foremost, but also to uplift and inspire just people of all shapes and sizes and just people across the world. I say that because so many people have been inspired by what I've been doing here in this space and what I've been doing in terms of exercise. So the scope of the Hero Ministry movement has grown and grown and grown. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a personal trainer nor my financial advisor, so do your own due diligence. Take what I say with a grain of salt. And shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me the space and the opportunity to be here and talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. And specifically this season and last season, my journey of becoming my own financial hero. So check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. That's expanded from 10 a.m. Used to be a 10 a.m. start time. Now it's 9:45. The show was expanded to half an hour. Shout out to New Thought Media Network again for that. So catch me at 9:45. If you missed me live, you can watch the replay on New Thought Media Network, Facebook, and YouTube, or on my Facebook and YouTube. And if you watch me on my YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you catch future episodes. And you can watch all the previous episodes, because this episode is episode 165. So you've got 164 previous episodes that you can get into over there on YouTube. Okay, so if this show provides any value, please consider liking, commenting, sharing. All these things help the social media algorithm. It helps the show grow, so we greatly appreciate it. And if you'd like to make a donation or buy a hero hoodie or any of those things, the information is in the show notes, but you can just go to sekouwrites.com. All right, so that's all my introductory stuff. Shout out to the folks in the chat. Shout out to Lovejoy. Shout out to Gladys. Shout out to Man. Thanks for tuning in live, folks. Okay, so Hero Ministry Movement News. As I've said, this is season 3. The theme for season 3 is doing. In other words, my intention is to make it more practical, to talk about the how-to, what the basic steps are to build wealth, build abundance, and shape our financial lives in a different way. So, run streak. Before we get to the abundance and the wealth, let's talk about my run streak. Today was day 235. I was so cold. I was so cold. I couldn't even remember what day it was when I did my run report. You'll see if you watch my run report. Again, I do a run report after every run. I post it on social media, so it's on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. So check it out. But I was so cold. It was 19, 18 degrees maybe when I started running, and it was 19 degrees when I finished. Yeah, so super cold today, super frigid. Anyway, do I have a run story, a summary of the run story? Well, no, my summary of the run story is just that. It was cold, but I did it anyway. And also that I announced my new charity run. Now, I announced it here yesterday and the day before, but I announced it publicly today in my run report. So this is charity run number 3. We are raising money for Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles is the man that I found in the snow a couple weeks ago and helped. He now, well, yeah, he has a broken foot. I was trying to figure out the chronology, but he has a broken foot. And last I heard, he's recovering. He's in rehabilitation. I've been communicating with him through a friend. So the idea Not even the idea. The goal is to raise $1,000 for Mr. Charles. Uh-oh, the screen blacked out for a second. I hope we're still live. But the idea is to raise $1,000 for Mr. Charles by running 100 miles. So the next 100 miles of my ongoing run streak are dedicated to Mr. Charles. So the next 100 miles are dedicated to Mr. Charles. In that time of running 100 miles, I want to raise $1,000 for Mr. Charles just to help him out and to cover whatever unexpected bills might pop up. So that's my commitment. I feel very involved in that story, very connected to Mr. Charles and to what happened. So if you missed that story, you're gonna have to go back and get that one. That was a powerful story. You can check it out on my social media. It's probably the fastest way to find it. Anyway, that's what's up. And again, shout out to Nan for being the first person to donate to the charity run number 3. I'm very excited to be running in service to something beyond me again. It feels really good. Okay, so that said, just a reminder that this is anniversary week for Living Life in Joy. That's Rev Mel's second show. So this week we've been playing the best of Living Life in Joy. So we showed her interview with Reverend Robert, who is the founder of New Thought Media Network. And that's the show and tell I was trying to find. I just realized that Reverend Robert and Reverend Mel just met for the first time. And that just hit me this morning. So they have been communicating to work together for the 2 shows, for Sip with Rev Melissa and Living Life in Joy. But they first met, quote unquote, on social media. So both of them right now are at a conference for CSL, which is Centers for Spiritual Living. And they ran into each other. And so they Rev Mel sent a picture of the 2 of them together, which is what I was trying to show you, but I can't get it to cooperate with me. So if you go over to Rev Melissa's social media, you'll see a picture of the 2 of them together, which just seems normal because we talk about Reverend Robert all the time. But it just hit me that they've never met each other in person until now, which is pretty wild. So I hope you get a chance to check out that photo. All right, that's it. Reverend Robert was first. Then we showed Gladys. Then we showed Regina Smithwick. And today will be Ty Stevens. Ty Stevens is a singer that Reverend Mel interviewed early in the season of Living Life in Joy. So make sure you check that out today at 10:30 Eastern Time. All right, so envelope challenge. Envelope challenge. I got a couple things to say about the envelope challenge. Shout out to the other people who are participating that I didn't realize were participating. So shout out to Linda and shout out to Danielle for participating in the envelope challenge. I like your idea, Linda. So for those of you that missed it, Linda is using a big glass jar for her envelope challenge. So she puts the cash in a glass jar every day so that she can see the money accumulate. By the way, Linda, I'm just curious, where are you getting the money? Like, are you going to the bank and pulling money out and then like keeping it in one pile, but then you put it in the jar when I announce the number for the day? Just curious. But I like that idea of being able to see the money accumulate. And equally, I like the idea of seeing the money accumulate in my bank account. So I've mentioned before that the more I do the envelope challenge, the more I get used to pulling money out of my checking and putting it into my savings. Today, the number is 1. That's the number that I pulled out of the hat today, is $1. And I was like, oh, like I actually felt disappointed that it wasn't more than $1. And as much as I can, I'm trying to stick to the rules so that I can see what develops. But I was like, oh man, I wanted to put a little more in. So I may sneak a little more into my savings account later. But I'm grateful for this exercise of abundance that's called the Envelope Challenge. And I'd love to hear from Linda and Danielle about how it's going for them. So drop that in the chat or DM me and let me know how it's going for you and what you're experiencing. That said, shout out to all the people doing the 30-day challenge. We got a nice little group going. People are posting in the Facebook group, so I'm excited about that. If I missed anybody, if you still want to be a part of it, just DM me, let me know. I'll send you the link for the private group. And again, for those of you just joining us, what we're doing is simply choosing one thing that we want to work on consistently for the next 30 days. And the goal is just to do it every day and to post about it every day. So we've got a number of people doing a number of different things, from exercise to writing and everything in between. So if you want to be down, let me know. Okay. That said, we're moving on. I already talked about the charity run. So let's get into the morning Zen. So I'm back on it. I missed 30-day mental diet yesterday, but I did it today. There's something going on with the platform today. All right, Nan's saying that she can still see me. It's doing something else now. I'm just going to ignore it and move on. So our affirmation is, oh, there it is. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Drink that in, take it with you, repeat it to yourself as needed throughout the day. And again, the reminder, oh shoot, I'm supposed to be doing mornings in. My bad. But I'll finish my thought. The reminder is poor people spend, the middle class saves, and the wealthy invest. So make sure that you are investing. And now circling back to mornings in. So I did do my reading today from 30-Day Mental Diet. It was impactful for me. I also read from The Science of Getting Rich, which you know is the book that I use for my podcast. So, what is this? This is day 15 for the 30-Day Mental Diet for me. And it was an impactful day. I almost want to read the whole day, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to read what really stood out to me. And it was a tough choice. So this is what I chose for today's reading. And let me tell you what the theme is first. So the theme for day 15 is the art of getting along with people. The art of getting along with people. And what I read is not going to surprise you. It's stuff we talk about all the time, but it's good reinforcement. So here's the quote. Do not attempt to place any blame on the other person. I got to read that part again. Do not attempt to put any blame on the other person. You need to just deal with yourself. Start by dismissing every negative thought you have about the other person. And in some way or another, discover something about him or her that you like. This is what creates and establishes a harmonious relationship and makes a bad one evaporate. I'm just going to read that part again. This is what creates and establishes a harmonious relationship and makes a bad relationship evaporate. Do not attempt to place any blame on the other person. That's strong stuff. It's strong stuff. It's one of those things, it's easier said than done, but it's worth the practice. Dismiss every negative thought that you have about the other person and think positive thoughts instead, even in the act of feeling upset with that person. And that's when you perform some internal alchemy. You shift the negativity inside you to something positive. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent now. Let me finish reading what I selected for today. Whatever you may feel towards some people will be reflected in the way you feel towards all people. You cannot hate and love at the same time. So one more time. Whatever you may feel towards some people will be reflected in the way you feel towards all people. You cannot hate and love at the same time. So your mental, spiritual, emotional body must be clear of negative emotions of any kind. And one of the most effective ways to do this, as the book suggests, is to think positive thoughts about the person that you're frustrated with. think about things that you like about that person in real time. And that is the shift. And it's like I say, it's difficult. It's difficult. Let me rephrase that. It's getting easier and easier every day, but it requires practice. It definitely requires practice. So day 15 was a very impactful day of 30-day mental diet for me. Every paragraph I had to sit and think this morning. I was like, ooh, that was good. So I just selected a little bit of today's reading. So if you haven't checked out the book yet, check out the book. And remember, they're very small passages. You read a little bit every day and just drink it in, ingest it, and keep it with you all day. And the book often suggests that you keep reading throughout the day to remind yourself. Because if you read this in the morning, but then you spend all day being mad about somebody, then you've negated the effects. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. That's what I got to say about 30-day mental diet. And I did read also from The Science of Getting Rich. Oh, right. So this is a story. The story is about a little boy at a piano, and the author was asking the little boy why he seemed so aggravated. And the boy said, I can feel the music in me, but I can't make my hands go right. Right? So the point that the author is making is that the music in him was the urge of God to express. Like it was the divine attempting to come through the boy to express itself. And that same desire comes through us in this way. So the desire you feel for riches is God, the infinite, seeking to express itself through you, just like the boy at the piano. So the desire to have wealth, have abundance, have riches, not just get by, not just have enough to get by, but to have abundance, that's God expressing itself through you, because it's God that wants to have these experiences through you. So that is a very deep concept. Again, if you haven't read The Science of Getting Rich, it is not anything like you're expecting when you hear the title, The Science of Getting Rich. You can ingest the book even more easily by simply listening to my podcast. My podcast is called Get Rich 101. I'm literally reading this book out loud and giving my commentary. And still, as you see, going back to the book, I find more gems that really resonate with me. And that's the one for today. Remember that the desire for an abundant living is just God, the infinite, the universe, attempting to express itself through you in a bigger way. So don't try to limit it by saying, oh, I just need enough to get by, or any of those small things. Think big, ask largely. Think big, ask largely. Okay, so that's the morning reading. It's just after 10 o'clock, so for those of you just joining us, we started at 9:45. It's now a half-hour show. You can catch the replay on YouTube. All right, so now let me circle back to where I was going with finance. We did the affirmation, and I reminded you that poor people spend, the middle class saves, and the wealthy invest. So now let's talk about abundance. It's Free Flow Friday, so I'm going to go off the cuff a little bit here. I mentioned Webull before. If you've been watching the show, you heard me talk about Webull. So Webull is another one of these trading platforms. And it exists as an app, but you can also open it as a .com on a computer browser. And I heard about it from a financial advisor. Well, I guess he's not technically a financial advisor, but someone who's talking about wealth and abundance on social media. And they were talking about the platform is giving away free stock. And my thought was there's got to be a catch, right? So I ignored it for a while before I finally tried it. And when I finally tried it, I was like, wow, they're giving me free stock. And they're like, I don't know, like I guess I expected, once I realized it was real, I guess I expected like penny stocks, like they'd all be like, 5 cents, 10 cents, 50 cents. But these are dollar amount stocks. Like I think the most expensive stock that they've given me for free is $10, and they've given me multiple shares. So that's part number one. I have posted the link to Webull on my Facebook page. You can go to my Facebook page, click the link. You will get free stock. And they have some randomizer built in. So every once in a while, somebody gets a serious stock, like a $1,000 stock. So that's, obviously that doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. So go get Webull, get your free stock. That's part one. It's legit. It's not any kind of scam. That's part one. Part two is it's been nagging at me a little bit, and I've been trying to figure out why. You know what it is? The numbers are small, so I didn't immediately recognize the percentages. But think about this now. I only invested $10 in Webull. And that's just because if you invest any amount of money early on, you get more free stock. Any amount of money. I could have put in $1 and got more free stock, but I decided, let me put $10 in. Still not much money. But here's the point. I've only put in $10 into Webull, but my account balance is $40. Like the other $30 came from them. They gave me $30 of free stock. So those are small numbers, but the percentages are significant. So I spent $10, right? But I have a $40 account. That's a 400% return. Think about that. Think about the percentage return. 400%? That's crazy. That's crazy. And I just did the math today because I was like, why do I keep thinking about it? That's why, because the percent return is significant. So even if you want to ignore that, I told you recently that I made a trade, right? So in case you missed that episode, let me recap. They gave me a $4 stock, right? And I traded that stock at $4.25, which is to say I sold it when it went up to $4.25. So I made 25 cents. Now, technically, I made $4.25 because the stock was free to me. But just in terms of training my mind, I was like, all right, so let me pretend that I spent $4 for this stock. And I want to try to get a quarter for it. So I'm going to wait till it goes up 25 cents and then sell it. Sorry. I'm going to wait until it goes up 25 cents and then sell it. Okay. Again, these are very small numbers, so it was easy to miss. I missed it entirely. But now that I'm paying attention to the percentages, like that's better than 5%. That's a better than 5% return. Like how much percent are you getting on your savings account? I'm guessing at best you're getting 1 to 2%, right? And you're trying to find ways to invest money that'll get you 5 to 10%. I got 5%, like momentarily, like in seconds. That's incredible. So again, I'm only counting the 25 cents. I'm ignoring the fact that they gave me the $4 for free, the $4 stock for free. I'm just thinking about the fact that I was able to sell it at $4.25. And that's a better than 5% return. And then I did it again because I was like, well, maybe that's a fluke, right? So I did it again for one of those $10 stocks they gave me. I was like, well, maybe I want to sell it at $10.50. And I'm just picking arbitrary numbers. I was like, I got a quarter last time. Let me do 2 quarters this time. That'll be 50 cents. There's my alarm. So I'm going to wrap this up. So I decided to do 2 quarters. And I sold it at $10.50. And again, that's better. That's a 5% return, right? Right. So it goes 10% return would be $1. So it's exactly a 5% return. I got 2 5% returns like that. And I was like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. That's pretty crazy because I don't know about you, but I've always thought of trading stocks is way too complicated to ever even attempt, even in this space of abundance, talking about wealth, talking about investing, talking about doing the right thing with your money. You've heard me say, I don't know about trading stocks though. The only reason I was able to venture into it in terms of my mindset was because I got the stock for free. And so I was unattached to the stock that I got for free. And that enabled me to trade. And it was so easy. Now, don't get carried away. Don't run out there and start doing stuff willy-nilly. But the point that I'm making is I was able to make a significant ROI, rate of return on investment, with minimal effort. And by the way, you know how you see in the movies, people are like just staring at the computer, watching, waiting for the stocks to move before they do something really fast. There was none of that. I got the stock at $4. I decided I wanted to sell it at $4.25. I set up what's called a limit order, which is an automated order. It's like artificial intelligence. You tell the system, if this stock ever hits $4.25, sell. And it did. The first time it sold within a couple hours. I didn't even notice because I wasn't even on the app anymore. I was off doing other things. And I checked the next day and I was like, wow, it sold already. I was like, when did it sell? It sold within hours of me placing the order. Boom, automated, hidden, passive income, right? Second time with the $10, same thing. I set a limit order at $10.50. Forgot about it. It sold within a couple days. But again, I was unaware of it. I was off doing other things. And at some point, I checked the Webull app. I was like, oh, that stock sold. Oh, I made 50 cents. 5% return. It's like, okay. For me, that has demolished the barrier of entry, right? Now I know that this is something, first of all, that works. And second of all, it's something that anyone can do. So let me break this down into small parts. If you've gotten off the porch, as I like to say, and started investing in the stock market, you've already learned about market orders and limit orders. And probably the same thing happened to you that happened to me. You tried to sell something and it didn't go through. And you're trying to figure out why it didn't go through. That's because the system, all these brokerage systems, are set up to do limit orders first, which is to say, as I was just explaining, to buy or sell at a certain price. So if it never reaches that price, then nothing happens, right? But if you perform a market order, then you buy or sell at whatever the price is, whatever the market price is right now. You buy now, sell now, it's a market order, it goes through. So this was my first time experimenting with limit orders because I've only done market orders because I've only been interested in doing something right now, immediately. But limit orders are like just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like setting a trap. Like when the mouse comes through, the trap springs and you get the profit. And by the way, if it never reaches, in my case, $4.25 or $10.50, nothing happens. It just stays there in force until such a time as it reaches that amount. If it never reaches that amount, it just doesn't happen. So there's no risk, really. Like, it's not like it's going to penalize you for not reaching that amount. So anyway, I know I'm running low on time. I'm really out of time, but I just want to say one more thing about this. So Wayfair is a company that sells furniture, etc. Right? This is Wayfair. And during the pandemic, in the early part of the pandemic, Wayfair exploded because so many people were buying things for their homes because they were spending so much time in their homes. Like, oh, let's get a day bed. Oh, let's get some chairs for the porch, right? Here's the thing. If you bought the stock instead of the things that Wayfair sold, if you bought stock in Wayfair, that stock went up, I'm told, by about 800%. So in the context of trading, you could have bought stock in Wayfair, and then it shot up to 800%, and then you could have sold it, and then made enough money to go back into Wayfair and buy the furniture for free. Like basically, Wayfair would have paid for the furniture you bought on Wayfair, right? Mind-boggling stuff. So I think I'm going to be talking about trading for a minute. I am blown away at the potential. So I'm going to be talking about it. I will keep talking about getting past the excuse of not having enough money, and getting past the excuse of not knowing where to spend your money, where to invest your money. But I'm going to be talking about trading too. So it's time for prayer time. I've already eaten into prayer time. Sorry, prayer time. Sorry about that. My bad. I got excited. And stay tuned for Sit with Rev. Melissa at 10:30. Again, that'll be a replay of Living Life in Joy. It'll be her episode interviewing Ty Stevens. All right. I'll see you Monday. Later.